to call the meeting to order. Can staff please take the roll call for attendance?
Sure. Bresnahan.
Here.
Datillo.
Here.
Duvall.
Here.
Kirpin.
Here.
Sheehan.
Here.
Workman.
Here.
And Finn.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Okay, I'd like to introduce the minutes from March 20th, 2025, which is a regular zoning board of appeals meeting for approval. Would any of the commissioners like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor to approve the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to the business at hand. At this time, we would swear in the public. So if there's anyone who's planning on speaking tonight, if you could please stand, come up to the podium and state your name and address, and then we'll record it in the minutes. Oh, nobody? Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah, you should get it.
Oh yeah, you can just come to the podium, that's fine, thanks. Okay, and your name and address, please?
Ryan Coach, my address is the paper.
Oh, okay. And can you please raise your right hand then? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay, thanks. All right, let's move on to the hearing. The business at hand tonight is ZBA number 651, variations from section 3-110C1, front yard, 3-110C3, side yard, 10-101 3A, access to street driveway width to allow for the construction of a detached garage and driveway within the R5 single-family residential district, Tranquility Builders, 67 Bluff Avenue. Do we have a motion to open the hearing?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor to open the hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, at this time, if I could please ask staff for the presentation.
Certainly, and we're having a few IT issues this evening, so normally we would have slides up here with photos, but actually what I can do is, since we have a small group, I can actually come a little closer to the audience so that they can see the visuals, which are in your board packet.
Okay, very good.
So the property is 67 Bluff Avenue. It is a through lot, which means that it has a front yard on Tilden and a front yard on Bluff. So that's the gist of the reason that the applicant is here for variation relief. Just a couple photos of current conditions. You can see there's an existing home on the property. The applicant proposes to demolish that structure and build a new single-family home and detached garage. This is a photo showing the current conditions from Tilden's side. And just as in your board packet, there is a photo of the previous conditions from when there used to be a detached garage on the property several years ago that it accessed off Tilden. Well, it was located on Tilden. I'm not quite sure how they accessed this garage because the door didn't actually face a pergola. And then this is the site plan that's in the packet for the board. This shows the proposed single-family home and the proposed garage, which would be a side-loaded garage. So the driveway would be off Tilden, but then vehicles would turn into the garage. And this is showing what the garage would look like. That's the architectural elevations that are in your packet. The surrounding area, I just wanted to note, as is noted in your board packet, there are 3 properties on this block that have received variation relief to construct a detached garage on Tilden that are also through lots like the subject property. There are further 4 other properties that have detached garages accessed off Tilden that are also through lots that appear to be non-conforming, constructed prior to the current zoning code. So that's all of the slides that I had. I'd be happy to go into more detail about the specific minimum yard requirements, they apply to through lots, if the board has any questions about those.
Okay, yeah, do any of the commissioners have any questions? Okay, if not, thank you for the presentation. And now we will hear the applicant's presentation. You can assume that all the commissioners have received your application and we have reviewed it. So at this time, if you have anything that you want to state to the board, please feel free to do so.
All I would add to the presentation.
Can you
Just
speak
trying to-
closer into the microphone?
Oh,
Fix it up.
I wonder if it's on.
It isn't.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Thank you for the presentation. My family and I, we've been building houses in Grange Park, and Western Springs area for quite some years now. And we just wanted to maintain the fabric of the neighborhood by incorporating the detached garage in this house plan, so that way it fit with the neighborhood. So, nothing else to add.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate it. Do we have any questions from the commissioners to the applicant?
Yes, I do. So I guess it's your intention to build a new single-family home.
Correct.
If this garage was, the variance for the garage was not approved, would you still build the home?
I purchased the property, so I'm going to build the house on there one way or another. And most honestly, homeowners are looking for attached garages with home design. Being that it's a 50-foot wide lot, there's only so many styles of houses you can do, so very much limited with what that could layout be. And I wanted to change it up and keep the fabric of the neighborhood by doing a detached garage. So that was the idea around the designs that I came up with. So to answer your question, we can still build something on there. Yeah, so we can still build something on there.
Would this house be for you, or is it a development to be sold?
It's a development to be sold. I'm talking to people who live currently in Grange right now about modifying plans to fit their needs for their family. So I'm actually talking to a couple of people from Grange who would be potentially buying this property to relocate their family to this address.
Okay, great. Any other questions for the applicant? Okay. Well, thank you very much.
There's a question in the audience.
Okay, I actually, we're moving on to the audience testimony right now, so go ahead, and if you could please state your name and address.
Yeah.
You have to, I'm sorry, you have to go to the microphone, though, just because it is recorded.
Usually my wife says I'm loud enough. Alan Demos, 63 Bluff. I'm just curious about, because I know this is my first time attending one of these. I don't understand the need for the variance, given that there was already a detached garage in that same location. Is that because it was taken down and needs to be put back up? I'm just trying to understand if there's something else subtle that I'm, as an next door neighbor, not understanding about the situation.
Yeah, I'd let you field that one if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely. I'd be happy to clarify that. So as a through lot, this property, as I noted, is subject to 2 minimum required front yards, which is at the least 25 feet, can be as much as up to 35 feet under our zoning code. So that means that a new garage constructed on the property would have to be set back from that Tilden property line at least 25 feet. The previous garage that was there was likely built prior to our current zoning codes and was allowed to remain. However, once that structure is no longer there and there's nothing there, a new structure has to comply with the codes or seek relief through the variation process. If there had been an existing garage on the property, our code does provide for a more streamlined process for relief for replacement of existing structures in their same location on single-family properties. That's called an administrative adjustment, but again, because the garage has been gone for several years, that wasn't an option here.
Well, for what it's worth, I have no problems with this next.
All right, thank you very much. Any other testimony? Yes, sir.
Ed Eastman, 66 Bluff. was only concerned about the location and the orientation of the front of the property. I just looked through the plans, and it appears as if the front of the property is oriented toward the bluff side of that lot. And with that being the case, and having the proper side setbacks, I don't have a problem. But I want to ensure that was the case based on the way the plot was laid.
Okay, very good, thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Excellent. Any other members of the audience wish to testify at this time? Okay, before we close the hearing, are there any further questions from the commissioners?
I have one more for the applicant. There are 4 lots, so it's your intention to build on the one lot, I guess, at the southern portion of the property, and the garage would be on that same southern portion, but east, correct?
So currently, the property's 4 separate lots that are roughly 25 by 100 deep. So there's really no way we would have been able to meet current codes to be able to build like 4 separate houses, 2 separate houses on that. So the house would sit on the bluff side of the front tube, and then the garage would sit essentially on the north side of the north side lot.
And basically that is getting to what I was wanted to get to, is whether or not you intended to subdivide and put 2 houses and 2 garages there, but I guess as you indicate, there's not enough room for 2 houses, is that right, Charity?
That's correct. It's actually a fairly frequent occurrence in this part of Grange that originally, 100 years ago, the lots were platted as 25 feet wide. And so most of the homes sit on 2 lots.
And what's the minimum now, 50 feet?
50 feet would have to be the minimum in R5, yes.
Okay, good question. Any others? All right, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion to close the hearing?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor to close the hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, at this point, we'll move on to deliberation and voting. And we'll move on to the commissioner's discussion. So if anyone would like to open the discussion, as usual, ideally, if we can touch on any of the 8 variation standards, that would be excellent.
Mr. Chairman, speaking to factor number 5, not merely a special privilege, I found it notable that 10 of 14 lots on the block, 71%, are through lots, and of those, 7 or 70% have detached garages already. 4 of 7 predate the code, and 3 of 7 received variances from this commission at some point. Accordingly, it seems to me that at least factor number 5 is easily met. This is not merely a special privilege.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I would note also, I think, as Commissioner Datillo just said, that also matches with 7, the essential character of the area as well. It flows based off of the nature of building the detached garages, the detached garage, that it matches the character of that specific area as well.
Okay, good point. Thank you. Anyone else?
I would just touch on item 3, criteria number 3. This was not a self-created action by the owner of the property, as Charity mentioned earlier. The property consists of 4 unusually narrow lots, and I think the applicant is doing the best he can to make the best use of the farm.
Thank you.
What struck me right away when I read this packet of material is the fact that we have the setback of 35 feet. And if there's a structure adjacent, it could be as short as 25 feet setback. So that's in our code. And I guess what bothers me is coherence. Coherence with what we do and what the code says. And it reminds me of the one variance we had where the owner built a gazebo slab and sidewalk in the same general area without permit, and basically we rejected it, and when it got to the village approved it. And so when I say coherence, I guess not that this committee needs to know what's on the mind of the village board. I mean, we have our own independent minds and we can make our own assessment. But I guess I don't understand, how should we approach this? You've got these setbacks that would be totally obliterated, but you've got the neighborhood, we've got all these garages on Tilden. So, and this is directed to the representative from the village board mainly, that I think the village needs to address that. And it would be great if we ever had a meeting with the village board to come up with some type of general policy as to how these things should be approached. Because if you're a conservative, you can say the setbacks, sorry. But if you have a more liberal philosophy, which is what I think the village board has, you're going to say, well, there's garages there and the owner's always right. So I'm looking for some guidance from other members of this board regarding how do you address that dramatically different positions of what the code requires and what the environment of that property is, with garages up and down Tilden. To me, that's, we approved this garage with his house. I mean, that's almost forever locks in these through lots, no setbacks ever. I mean, it's probably the condition already, but is that what we want to do? Make rulings so that in the future, setbacks can be totally ignored?
I have my own view on this, which is we have our scope, they have their scope. They're binding, we're not binding. That is what it is. I don't know how we can anticipate how they're going to think about it, number one. Number two, in this particular case, we're dealing with an irregular lot. So all of the usual conventions are sort of, they turn gray, right? Like, we're not dealing with a regular sized lot, so. I always feel like this board occupies that gray area. Like, things aren't black and white inherently. These variations are coming to us because they are gray, and they're just looking for sort of a rational discussion and a reasonable recommendation. That's the best we can do.
I agree, Chairman. I would also note for clarity's sake that I think the village board actually denied.
Yeah.
Because I actually drive past that property and the gazebo's down.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But I think to your point, there was one that we said
Right.
no, and they said yes.
Yes.
There was one.
We've definitely been overridden. That's a fact.
I overrode you on solar panels.
Okay.
That was me.
We're still sore about it. No, I'm just kidding.
I'd like to add to the discussion that the 12 factors that lawyers refer to as the LaSalle factors come from a case called LaSalle National Bank versus City of Chicago. And the first factor, the general standard here, I think speaks directly to your question, Commissioner, and that is, no variation shall be granted unless the applicant shall establish that carrying out the strict letter of the provisions of the code would create a particular hardship or practical difficulty. I think that general standard is the charge of this board to determine in our discretion if we believe carrying out the strict letter of the code creates a hardship or difficulty for the applicant.
Yeah, I think that's well said. I think option 2 or standard 2 is the unique physical condition, and these decisions are made based on this being a unique physical condition where, it's not a standard lot where the decision would rule for the whole entire village. The decision would rule for a similarly unique physical condition of, through lots on Tilden where there's, 7 out of 10 that also have a similar setup.
Let me just add then, on page 6 of the staff report, it does list 3 alternatives. So it's not like there are no alternatives that could be utilized in this case. The first alternative is that the applicant could reduce the driveway width and so that he would, back onto Tilden, as other garages in the block do. That change would facilitate a larger setback from the side lot line, but apparently it would meet all code, and apparently it would result in a home garage that the applicant wanted. And number 2, a detached garage could be placed 35-foot setback from Tilden, but that would bifurcate the yard and result in the loss of a tree. I don't know if the loss of a tree would be controlling, but I'm not certain why bifurcating the yard with a 35 setback would be unreasonable. And then the third alternative is the attached garage access off Bluff. However, as it states, that's less in keeping with the character of the majority of the homes. So, I'd like some discussion as to what the board thinks of these alternatives and whether or not they're reasonable.
I think putting the garage in the middle of the yard to create a 35-foot setback would devalue the house. Having a yard that's contiguous is much more appealing to buyers, and I think a much better use of the property for the village.
I will note for the.
I was just going to say, I also think that the loss of a mature tree that's a 24-foot diameter, even though our village does not have a tree ordinance per se, we should. And I hope we will in the future, so note to the village board. But I think that the loss of that tree would be something we should try to avoid.
For the final alternative, my concern would be, as we discussed before, that it would be less in keeping with the established character of the majority of the homes. So to me, I think that's an important factor that we discussed already, that granting the variance would keep with the essential character of that specific area.
I don't necessarily understand the first alternative.
So that would, sure, I can add a little point of clarification there. If the garage were turned so that it was accessed directly off Tilden instead of a side-loaded garage, that would allow it to be moved further from the side lot line, could reduce the curb cut, which are 2 of the 3 requested variations, but it would not eliminate the need for the front yard variation.
So I think the side entrance of the garage, the way they have it designed, is to make it easier to get in and out, so you're not backing directly out onto Tilden. And maybe that's one where if you're backing directly out, maybe that's not as safe or easy. It's just more desirable to have it be that side entrance.
Excellent discussion. Any other final comments or more discussion, I should say?
Only one more note, I think it's always helpful when we have neighbors attend and the neighbors chiming in and stating that they don't have an issue with it is really beneficial. So just something to note as part of our discussion as well.
That is an excellent point. Okay, why don't we move on? If there's no more discussion, we can go into the approval or denial. Would anyone like to make Actually, we've already gone through the different motions that we could make, right? They basically would correspond to these three alternatives loosely. We can deny, we can approve, or we can approve with a lesser variation, rooted in one of those three alternatives, I suppose. Would any of the commissioners like to make a motion to recommend approval, denial of the requested variation, or approval with a lesser variation?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the variances as requested by the applicant.
Second.
Okay, can we have a roll call vote?
Deval, did you do second?
Was it
You
me?
did this second.
No, I did.
Oh, thank you. I didn't see it, I was looking. Datillo,
Aye.
Sheehan,
Aye.
Bresnahan,
Aye.
Deval,
Aye.
Kirkman,
I am going to vote no because I want the village to see there was a no and that there's some discussion with the village on the points that I brought up regarding policy, character of the neighborhood. I just think that needs to be fleshed out, and I'd like to find out what the village thinks about these points that I've made, setback versus garages everywhere on Tilden. So I'm voting no for that reason, so that there's discussion with the village and they can see there was at least one no.
Workman,
Aye.
Binder,
Aye.
motion.
Okay, and usually at this time we talk about what are the next steps.
Sure, so for the benefit of the audience, the CBA is a recommending body, so this will advance to the village board for final consideration at an upcoming meeting.
All right, thank you. Okay, does anyone wish to make a motion to either continue or adjourn this hearing?
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Datillo,
Aye.
Deval,
Aye.
Bresnahan,
Aye.
Workman,
Aye.
Kirkman,
Aye.
Sheehan,
Aye.
and Binder.
Aye. Okay, do we have any new business to discuss? Otherwise, do we have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
I thought we did that.
Yep.
Oh, you know what, sorry, I have a typo. Thanks, everyone.